everybody, how y'all doing today? Welcome to the Wellness Garden Tool Shed. My name is Leah and I will be pulling some cards today. And I love personal development because I've seen how it's helped me in my life create the things that I wanted. But I've also, now I'm at the age where my kids are adults and I watch them go through things. And let me just tell you that when your kids go through some challenges that you have no control over, it is really hard to deal with. And as much as I love personal development, I do feel like many of the people that are the leaders in that, their kids are not at the age of where there's a lot of challenges. And that's where I have found that cards actually help me when I'm going through some stressful times, and it's usually when it involves my children, because my children are grown, they're adults, and they both are in industries that are challenging. And though real estate seems to be good, there's other challenges that each of them have, which they have to go through, because we all go through them. It's kind of our rite of passage. And it's really hard as a parent to sit by and watch things. My son's in an industry that's really tough, and being a musician, and people are not very kind all the time in that situation. It's a dog-eat-dog world, and it's hard to watch as a parent. So anyway, I use cards to kind of try to navigate when there's challenging times, and that's what gives me the hope, and where our attention is, drawn to, or what we focus on does expand. And this is exactly why I use cards and like to incorporate that with personal development or personal empowerment and those kind of things, because the reality is we create our own destination, right? Yes, we have circumstances that happen that are beyond our control, but it's how we navigate through those circumstances. And even when something bad does happen, generally speaking, the universe has your back and it's pointing you in a direction that's more suitable for you. This is why having a fixed, attached outcome is important, to kind of release that. And I can tell you that's really hard to do. I have definite attachment issues that it's hard to see that something better from what was so great is actually going to be better. But I've also been around long enough to see that that's actually true, and it does happen every time. So, without further ado, if you like this kind of content, I have to pause because Rosie's back. Okay, Rosie has completed her dump. And I thought I was being so original by naming my iRobot Rosie from the Jetsons, but of course, other people had that in mind too. So I guess I'm not so unique. If you like this kind of stuff, please like and subscribe it. It really helps boost the channel and gets this kind of information, or at least the style of how I read cards, because everybody does it a little differently. That's Marty joining us for today's energy reading. I'm using the Enchanted Map deck from Colette Baron Reed. And this is one of my favorite decks, because how do you know where you're going if you don't even have a map, right? You want to get somewhere. So what are the steps that we can use to get there? So again, if you're new to my channel, I incorporate using tarot cards with personal development and learning how to manifest your best life, and having tools that allow you to do that or help you to keep your eye on the prize. So first card is a situation. Peaks of joy. All right. With everything that goes on in the world and or in your daily life, and say you're stressed out about something, sometimes the holidays can bring that about, right? And we are now the first day of December. So always remember there's always peaks of joy in anything. It's kind of like that silver lining in the cloud. So this is asking you to be grateful, or even just recognize the little peaks of joy in a day, okay? Be grateful that you were allowed to get out of bed, that you could, your body let you get out of bed, and that, maybe you're healthy today, or, you slept good. Whatever the little tiny gratitude is, start there, because then again, what you focus on expands. So when you're focusing on being grateful for something, then the universe kind of brings more of that to you through the reticular activation system. Okay, so ask yourself, like, what can I be grateful today, and start looking for things to be grateful, and that's gonna really boost up your energy and your vibration to bring more of those things to you. All right, so what's possibly blocking our energy, or something that we need in order to uh, find those peaks of joy? Golden Palace. Ooh, so there, this could be a material world. Like, maybe not having the material things is what's really kind of making you sad, or those shiny objects or whatever. But the reality is it doesn't have to be the shiny object. Let's think of other things that you can be grateful for too. It doesn't just have to be money or material things. There's a lot of experiences that you can't put a physical material object to. So focusing only on the material world might be part of the problem. And it is difficult that holidays, Black Friday, or what's it today, Cyber Monday. So of course, yeah, that might be on your mind, but there's other things that can bring you peaks of joy as well that aren't super flashy or super expensive. Okay, what is the root or the foundation of today's, or this week's energy, I should say? Coming to life. All right, so this, something has probably held you down for a little bit, and it's now the gratitude's going to spark some joy, kind of have a snowball effect, which will finally be coming to life. Because I feel like a lot of people who might be seeing this, we've been going through some weird times, and kind of globally and mostly individually. This is more individual, I believe, that we want that little spark to kind of bring us back to life, to get that energy back that maybe we felt like we were on a lull. We were just getting out of that Mercury retrograde, so we might start feeling that momentum. I think Mars is in Sagittarius or something like that. Again, I'm not an astrologer, but I happen to have my Mars is in Sagittarius, which gives me a lot of energy to do things. Got that expansive Jupiter plus Mars. Fight, go for it, push through it, that kind of thing. So anyway, so I think we're finally getting that little bit of spark and re-energized. Maybe it is the holiday season for you that's kind of bringing it about, and like you kind of want to get things done sooner rather than later. So what have we learned in the past that could actually help in this week's energy? Wishing well. Okay. All right. When we want to manifest something, we got to put it out there, but you can't keep looking in that well to see if the coin's there. Did it move? What's it doing? We have to kind of, it's like when you have prayers, like I went to church a lot when I was young, and what they always said was, you kind of want to pray for it, but you don't want to keep asking for it over and over and over again, because if you keep asking for it over and over and over again, then the energy around that is fearful and not getting it. Whereas if you kind of just ask for it and then know that it'll come when it's supposed to, then it kind of manifests. So in this case, to get that spark back, don't keep focusing on it not being here, but put that out to the universe, and then let's see what happens when you ask for it. I think Rosie's coming back. She's kind of loud. So what's for the higher good? That is stuck in the mud in reverse. So stuck in the mud in reverse is a lot like what I was just talking about earlier, about having specific outcomes and an attachment to a certain outcome. Because if you're trying to control all aspects of what it is you're trying to achieve, yes, there's some control aspects to it, but sometimes we have such an attachment to a specific outcome that when it doesn't happen, you're crushed. And we have to remember that there are outcomes that can actually be better than what you're thinking about. So when you're trying to force something to happen and you're stuck in the mud and you're fighting it, and it's kind of like quicksand. If you fight the mud, you're just going to get more stuck and it's going to suck you in, okay? But if you kind of like just chill for a minute, relax, get yourself unstuck, get yourself cleaned up, and then move forward to the next step because something didn't work out, that's what this message is about. You're finding your spark, coming back to life, and it's because you've been stuck in the mud. You were probably had an attachment to a certain outcome and things aren't going the way that you thought it should, but the universe has something better for you, so allow it to happen and then you can move forward. So this is one of these life lesson moments that attachment is the theme of this right here. It's like you can't just have a certain way you think everything's supposed to work out. Things work out the way they're supposed to work out. You kind of have to adapt sometimes to the universe. As much as that can be frustrating and difficult, I know. I think I need to even course correct a little bit myself. And it is what it is, okay? Let us see what is around the corner and what we can expect. Sacred Pool. Sacred Pool, again, is asking you, what do you see in your, when you look into that sacred pool, what exactly is being reflected back to you? Because, again, it all starts with the Peaks of Joy, the first card here, with kind of looking for the good in stuff. Like, when you look into the pond, what do you see? Are you judging yourself super harshly? Are you seeing the things that you want to see? Were you not allowing things to happen? When you start realizing that the world and the universe and your life is really a reflection of what you believe and what you think, your world will change, you know, all to like who the people you surround yourself with. Are they loving people? Do they have your back? Or do you have old patterns that need to be broken because you have this belief system that is hindering you? This comes in all shapes and sizes of everything. And so this card is asking you, because you're going to come around the corner, this is going to be something you're probably going to have to do some self-reflection on what it is. Why did you get stuck in the mud? Why are your wishes not coming true? Or do you remember a time when they did come true and how you can make that work, right? And we know that once you do this and you kind of don't have that harsh judgment for yourself, you will come to life. And that's really what this message is about, is finding that passion, that drive, that will to go on and achieve those dreams that you actually wish for. So, what is our superpower for this week? Because we are dying to come to life and find that little spark, and then, you know, we might have some rude awakenings happening. We might need to adjust. And so let's see what our superpower is in this situation. Dragon's Lair. Can you see that? A dragon's lair. Well, that is interesting because the dragon's lair is something that can kind of be scary, okay? So the dragon lair is kind of that scary place. Like I said, you wanted to slay the dragon and those kind of things. So this is about your risk taking. You might need to take a risk in trying something new. Again, we're waiting to come back to life. But new things can seem kind of scary. And your awareness of what danger is heightened. Probably from learning from all this other stuff, you know, the wishing well and getting kind of stuck. So pay attention to that right now. Like, If your spidey senses tell you get out, then get out. But at the same time, assess the situation. Are you just afraid to try something new because you've been hurt in the past, or something didn't work out for you in the past, or something that's putting that fear behind? Because let me just tell you, reacting in fear is never good. But there is a healthy, I don't want to say healthy fear because I don't know about that, but when you're like really excited to do something but you're kind of scared and you have butterflies, that's more of the thing I'm talking about. It could be dangerous, but it's exhilarating at the same time. I used to get that feeling with riding dirt bikes, okay? I used to race them. It was very amateur. But, some of the stuff we did was scary, but it was exhilarating to try to really conquer that fear. It's like a little challenge. This is kind of that card because it's in your superpower situation on how we're reading this, that you probably are pretty good at taking those risks that other people wouldn't. And that's going to propel you into the new thing, probably what you're wishing for, because what you tried to work, maybe it didn't go the way you wanted it to. But this is asking you to take that risk and do something new, okay? That's your superpower. So if you get an opportunity and it kind of scares you a little bit, go for it, okay? Now let's see what the outside powers have of effect on this. Okay, this is Magic Stream, and she's coming back again. I picked a long time to do this. Sorry about that. I have to put you on pause again. So we have Magic Stream in reverse. So this is the outside influences on this reading. So this right here is, you probably had someone that you couldn't change their mind. You couldn't get them on board with you or whatever it is you're trying to achieve. Or somebody didn't like your idea, they shot it down or whatever. Or maybe you were in a relationship and, it just didn't work out, because you can't really force people to be a certain way. And again, that has to do with this attached outcome. And when somebody lets us down, or they're not going with the flow, or at least with our flow, this way, we have to reconsider stuff, okay? Again, quit trying to force something that's not there, okay? I know I've done it. I've done it a lot. And there's things I want to force as we speak that I have absolutely no control over. It doesn't even involve me. But you can't force what's not there. And that could be a business partner. It could be whatever it is. This is asking you to try to go with the flow. Don't force this thing. Allow whatever is happening to happen so it can guide you in the proper direction of where you're supposed to be. No one wants to hear that. But, again, put it in the wishing well and let it be. Quit trying to dig it up. Quit trying to micromanage all of the things that you want it to look like exactly, and allow something to come. Always remember, when you're trying to manifest, if you can ask for whatever it is or better, okay? Just do that. Always add the or better. That helps in so many ways, right? And, there are a lot of things that are disappointing that other people do. It is. And, you feel let down. I was just recently listening to some videos where people kind of talk smack about this kind of work and the personal development, and, just shows that all these leaders are grifters and they do all this stuff. And it's like, what? I mean, you got to make money somehow, right? The energy has to be exchanged. I mean, is it a grift if you're just trying to have a business and it helps people at the same time? Like a lot of the stuff I talk about, especially when it comes to manifesting, law of attraction, I read it from somewhere else. I didn't make it up. And most of the people didn't make things up. And it's just, I don't know. It's just, sometimes you got to turn that stuff off, because you're fighting against the current. And you want to go with whatever's going to flow, okay? Because you want to come back to life. So, it is sad that a lot of people do poo-poo self-help or personal development or even tarot oracle cards because they think it's weird. But, for me, it gives me a lot of comfort and a lot of hope. And it gives me some insight to what the energy is to maybe put myself in check, because it really ultimately stems from ourselves. Like, yeah, is there what is it, self-fulfilling prophecy? 100%. Yes. Because our beliefs is what's going to dictate our outcomes. And sometimes we're just not even sure of our beliefs. And this reading, for me, I can totally resonate with it because, again, I'm reading it, my energy's on it. But this is also a collective reading, which I think a lot of people out there do need to hear this. And if you know somebody that is struggling with finding their motivation and they're relying a little bit too much on the material world, and that's getting in the way of where their gratitude really comes in, because what does the material stuff really give us? It gives us peace of mind. We want to feel good, right? Because if you look at money, most people who are ridiculously loaded, they don't have gobs of money sitting in their house. It's on paper. It's somewhere else. So they literally don't have it within their possession, but it's an illusion. And most things are, because what that does, it gives you that sense of peace. And that's what we're all searching for, right? We all want to feel loved. We all want to feel happy. And what are those things that do it? Well, start out by just looking at the peaks of joy, because that will get you started on the gratitude chain train rather, that will help motivate you to keep that higher vibration, because it is amazing what you can do when you're in a good mood, and how hard it is to stay motivated when you've had some or a lot of upsetting news, okay? So, again, there's always peaks of joy too. Okay, I could go on and on about all the crazy stuff that's gone on in the last few years of my life with my kids and everything they've gone through that's been tragic. Some of it's been super tragic. But I can't focus on that, because then I'll be sitting in a corner, sucking my thumb, rocking back and forth. So we have to find those peaks of joy to bring us up into a higher level, okay? So what are our hopes and fears? Field of Dreams, right? Okay, isn't it funny when we talk about this kind of stuff, the cards actually show what the energy is. And this is the Field of Dreams, that anything is possible when you put your mind to it, okay? Anything truly is. Miracles do happen. You just have to look out for them. If you think they don't exist, guess what? You won't see them. It's like when you lose your keys, and you know your keys are in your purse, and you think they're lost. So you look and you've reached in that purse I don't know how many times, and you can't find your keys. But as soon as you kind of let that go, you reach in your purse and there's your keys. And it's like, but it's because you thought they were lost and you couldn't find them, so your brain was going to keep going in that direction. So, beliefs is really what will propel anything in your life, because that's what is reflected back to you. A lot of people don't want to hear that because it puts the responsibility onto you. But when you do realize that, when you start giving that love energy, when you start thinking that anything is possible and that you're a little bit more powerful than you realize, even if you have had things that didn't turn out right, because the universe has something better for you, because you had that one attached outcome that you thought was the only outcome. When you realize there's opportunity, the Field of Dreams opens up. I'm telling you, I've seen it in my own life, and I've seen it in other people's lives, where you would think, oh, I can't believe that's happening. Like, I thought it was at the end of the line over here, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, wow. So resilience is super important, and it's super important, again, to not have those specific attachments to a specific outcome. All right, so what do we have for our outcome for this week's energy? Cleaning house. I think she's coming back. Cleaning house. Okay, so what will help you come back to life? Because that's the root of all of this. First, we need to find peaks of joy. Okay? So peaks of joy, again, this is looking at gratitude. What is going right in your life? We can all find all kinds of what's going wrong, because that's a lot of the energy we have. It's almost, I think it's because of the social media, and I just had this conversation with my son about the emo world. And there was a time when people really were addicted to their problems, and people wanted to outdo who had the worst problems. And then you start dwelling on that, and then guess what? The universe starts bringing you more problems to think of. So we're kind of at that precipitous, I don't even know if I'm saying that right. We're kind of at that point where we need to decide, do we like the way our life is going right now? And the way to start changing is finding those peaks of joy. And then we have the Golden Palace. Do we want more money? I think the abundance in the Golden Palace can actually come at some point, but I don't think that should be your main focus at this point. I think looking at the material world and the shiny objects is kind of hindering you right now, because there's a lot of peaks of joy that don't involve spending money or having certain material things. Because again, the material stuff just makes your life a lot easier, so that you feel peaceful inside. Because nobody wants to stress over paying bills. I'm not saying money's not important. I'm just saying there's other things that actually give you that sense of peace that don't have to be bought through money. But don't get me wrong, I also agree that money does help things, because it allows that peace when we don't have to worry about our bills or food or any of those kind of things. But there's other things, our friends, our family, our pets, the art we create, anything we create. You can even be creative being an accountant, okay? So let's not focus so much on the things, but rather the feeling of the peace that those things give you, so that you can kind of start creating that vibration. And then when we're manifesting, I'm sure you've all have done it before, remember what you did before in the past and how you got there. We are tired of being stuck in the mud. You can't fight it, okay? Let go, relax, clean yourself off, so we can focus on something new again. Because, yes, all the stuff that's been going on is what's kind of forcing us to, like, what do we do? How do I find those peaks of joy? How do I come back to life? How do I do all this stuff when I feel so stuck in the mud, when things aren't going out right? When you thought you had that job, you thought you had that relationship, and it's not working. It's just not working, okay? Let it go. Clean yourself off. Let's just move into the future. And while, leave that all in the past. Like, it's done. It's not working. And then sacred pool. What do you want to see in that sacred pool? Who do you want to see in there? Who do you want looking back at you? Again, this is all about your perception. Your life is literally a mirror to what you believe about yourself and what you believe you deserve. Again, I'm not the only one saying this stuff. Like, I'm not new to this stuff. I've heard it. It's not my own stuff. I'm just telling you what other people say. But these cards are really telling it like it is right now. And again, is it scary? 100%. Nobody wants to dive into stuff and start over new, or go on your own, or live by yourself, or whatever the case is. It's kind of frightening a little bit. But at the same time, go slay that dragon. Be the hero in your own story. Face your fears. It can be exhilarating. It's a challenge. This is going to be your superpower for you to slay your own demons. Okay? This is your superpower. And again, sacred pool, not sacred pool, I'm sorry. Magic stream in reverse. This is, you're trying to force something that didn't work out. The outside thing, we need to move on from that. We need to go forward with the internal stuff, because what's on this outside, not for you. Not for you. We cannot make things happen. And that's why this is the higher good, is to make you realize you can't force other people's emotions or whatever happened. You can't force it. It's not the way it goes. And once you let go, the field of dreams opens up for you. anything is possible. Okay, it's never too late to start. I mean, I'm what, 56, and I'm still starting. I'm getting off the ground, but that's okay. And then we have this outcome, cleaning, cleaning house. All right, clean your own house right now. All right, let's get that dirt out of your brain. This is your metaphorical house. Okay, just do the little steps by starting to notice the peaks of joy. Have some gratitude. Start cleaning up your own space. When you start cleaning stuff and the clutter and declutter, it helps make things clearer for you. It also gives you that sense of peace, because a lot of anxiety is out there is when you got these big messes and it's just all this kind of freaking out stuff. That's why it's so important to clean your house. Okay? That's going to be when all of this dies down and you clear everything out, you're going to have a lot more clarity on what it is that you want in your field of dreams. Okay? But again, don't, it's not, it doesn't have to be so big. Just open your mind to all the possibilities. The field of dreams is it's a field of dreams. It's dreams with a plural, which means be open to whatever it is or better. There can be more than one dream. Okay? So again, you take care of yourself, clean up your house. That's what you're going to be doing in order to have that field of dreams open up for you. Well, I hope that helps you out today. Again, if you like this kind of stuff, share it to your friends, somebody you feel like they're struggling and need to hear this message. And again, I hope this resonates with somebody. Let me know in the comments, because it helps boost the channel, and I'm curious about what you guys want to hear. And so with that, I'll see you later. Bye.